Hi, it's Naomi, health, well-being and lifestyle transformation expert. I'm going to share with you the story of Grace so that you can have a roadmap and understand how Grace went from being 48, feeling fat, frumpy and frustrated, to just about to approach her 50th birthday, feeling fabulous, having more energy than she did in her 30s, and just having this renewed zest for life. So I want to give you a little bit of background information first to help you to have the full picture. Grace initially reached out to me in January 2022. She'd been struggling for a long time and wanted some help on how to, get out of the yo-yo diet mindset, but also with menopause, how to lose the weight and how to feel sort of great again. We had that initial chat in January. Grace decided to carry on her own and to see how she got on. But 3 months later, she was no further forward. She'd got a little bit of motivation and then it had run out again. And in the April, she did my 7-day challenge. And after the 7-day challenge, in Grace's words, she said, "I can't do this alone. Help me, please." So in April 2022, Grace came and joined my one-to-one transformation program. And what I'm going to share with you now is the roadmap that I used with Grace to help her to lose not just 3 stone in body fat, but also to regain energy, to regain that zest for life, to balance all those menopause hormones, and to help her to feel like she's got the most energy for her family and her grandchildren that she has had in years. So inside of my transformation program, we worked on the S.M.A.R.T Formula. You may have heard of this from me before. My S.M.A.R.T Formula isn't just a formula that I created from my years of being a certified nutrition and health expert, but also from over 30 years of my experience of poor physical health, poor mental health, and also low confidence, low self-esteem, and 25 years previously of me being a yo-yo dieter and emotional eater. So inside my transformation program, the first thing that I worked on with Grace was her sleep. Sleep is something that a lot of people don't even think about when it comes to weight loss and menopause and all those different things. But sleep is a pivotal part of our health and well-being. So I worked with Grace on optimizing her sleep, making sure that we got 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. The odd occasion that maybe she went out, had a late night, which is fine. It's all about balance, but optimizing her sleep the rest of the time. The next thing that we worked on was mindful nutrition. And that means making sure that Grace was getting 3 portions of protein into her meals every day, that she was prioritizing things like vegetables, but also, good quality carbohydrates, good quality healthy fats, and that she was drinking at least 2 liters of water every day. But also enabling Grace to still enjoy the things that she did with her family. So the odd takeaway, a dinner out, a dessert, a glass of wine, a glass of beer in the summer. She was still able to do all those things. And we created that balance and control of sort of 80 to 90% of the time eating high nutrient dense foods that fueled her body, that helped to balance her hormones, that helped to allow her body to release the fat that it didn't need, but also to still enjoy life and everything else that goes with it. The next thing we worked on was Grace's activity levels. So not about joining the gym, not about joining classes, just getting out and walking every day. And when Grace first started working in my transformation program, she was barely able to walk 10 to 15 minutes. She had a lot of joint pain in her knees and her hips, mostly because of the excess weight that she was carrying, but also it's a really common symptom in perimenopause and menopause to have joint pain. So we worked on her activities, started first of all just with really short walks, 10 to 15 minutes, increased those to sort of 30 minutes each day where Grace was getting out and just getting some movement in. The next part of the formula that I worked on with Grace was rest and recovery. This is something that I see so many women in midlife completely neglecting. And I get it. We're busy, we have families, we have commitments, we're everything to everybody, we have careers, we have our own businesses, and we're just spinning all the plates, juggling all the balls. And the problem with that is that we are just creating more and more cortisol and adrenaline in our body, which is just holding on to all our fat with these kind of stress bombs. So I worked with Grace on ensuring that there was some time during the week, even though she's busy with a busy career, family, grandchildren, just to ensure that there was some time each week that she was able to get that rest and recovery. That's prioritizing that sleep, but also having an evening routine where things just start to sort of slow down a little bit before bedtime. And the last part of the formula that I worked on with Grace is time for self. And you might know this as self-care, but again, when we're juggling all the plates, when we're spinning everything, when we're doing everything for everybody else, we don't give ourselves that little bit of care that we need. And it's such a vital thing. So even though Grace is a busy grandma working, we worked on some areas where she could get some self-time, time for herself, whether that was, a little bit of time to do some gardening or a little bit of time to read a chapter of a book or whatever it was, just to help to balance her hormones, to help to increase her well-being and to help her body to, like I say, help to burn that fat. So we worked on the S.M.A.R.T Formula, and then over this period of time, as I said, Grace had already started to lose weight, had already started to get some of the habits and the behaviors changed, not using willpower and motivation. But then Grace made the decision to commit to coming into my legacy program to carry on with these behaviors. Because the thing is, and it took me the best part of 25, 30 years to learn this, obviously now that I do what I do, but I wasn't always a certified nutrition and behavior change coach. So I used to rely on willpower and motivation because that's what I thought you had to do to lose weight and to get the health that you wanted. But inside my legacy program, Grace and I continued to work on behavior change, on habit changing, on reprogramming, because 95% of our brain is hardwired to do what we've always done. So if you've spent 10, 20, 30 years doing certain things with your health and certain behaviors, whether that's emotional eating, comfort drinking, not exercising, always relying on motivation and willpower, you will never change them long term unless you start to reprogram the neural pathways in the subconscious brain. So by joining my legacy program, Grace was then in a supportive community, but also we were able to still have that accountability and still have that ability to keep reinforcing the new behaviors. So inside of the legacy program, as you'll have seen, Grace has now lost over 3 stone. She's gone, like I said, from being 48, fat, frumpy, frustrated, to now being just a few months off of her 50th birthday. In her words, feeling like she has the energy that she had in her 30s and enabling her to do all the things that she was putting off for many years because she just didn't have the energy to do them. So just to give you a recap there, the S.M.A.R.T formula that Grace and I worked on was obviously her sleep, her nutrition, her activity, rest and recovery, but also that time for self. And the biggest pieces of the puzzle was working on her mindset and her identity to interrupt the old habits and behaviors, to create new habits and behaviors that enable this to become part of a long-term lifestyle change and not to keep going back to that yo-yo dieting. So I really hope this has given you some insight, some inspiration, but also some help and some understanding of how she's achieved those results. And obviously, if you want to have a chat, if you want to ask any questions at all about how I work within my legacy program or any of my programs, please feel free to reach out, drop me a message. You can send it to me in Facebook Messenger or anywhere that you have contact with me. And if you just put Grace as the subject, I will know exactly what you're wishing to talk about. But as I said, I hope this has given you some education, but also some inspiration. And just remember, motivation and willpower always run out. So to make it long-term and sustainable, you need to change the behaviors long-term, you need to change the mindset long-term, or else you just keep going in the same cycle over and over again. Thanks so much.